Hello everyone. We will discuss INICET November 2022 exam medicine portion. So this time exam was more of a clinical based and slightly towards on a tough side. So but the topics were repeated topics. Starting with the question number 1. High anion gap is found in. So this is a relatively simple and straight answer. High anion gap will be seen in metabolic acidosis, and that is known as high anion gap metabolic acidosis. So it will be increased in this condition. Now question number 2. Patient misses everything or ignore the left side of the body, including drawing the petals of a flower only on the right side and the clock number only on the right side, shaving only half side of the face, eating only from the right side, washing the right side of the hand only. So the site of this lesion is, so the diagnosis, clinical diagnosis of this condition is known as hemi-neglect. And this hemi-neglect is for the left side of the body. So that means that the lesion will be on the right side, and that will be a parietal area. So the answer here will be right posterior parietal cortex. Left parietal will not cause this side lesion. Temporal and frontal cortex are not involved with the diagnosis of hemi-neglect. Question number 3. ECG is given in the figure, the drug not to be used here. So if we look at this ECG, the QRS complexes are narrow complexes, normal complex QRS, and we are not able to find the P wave. So if the P waves are absent with a tachycardia type of rhythm, then we have to identify whether it is a regular rhythm. So if it is a regular rhythm, then it is most likely PSVT. Or if it is irregular rhythm, so irregular rhythm will be atrial fibrillation. So in this, if we look at the RR interval, so RR interval are variable here. So that means it is a case of a atrial fibrillation, absence of P wave. For atrial fibrillation, for the rate control, we can give beta blocker. If patient has bronchial asthma, we can give calcium channel blockers. Amidron can also be used. It can be used for the conversion of atrial fibrillation into sinus rhythm, that is cardioversion, as well as for the maintenance also. Adenosine is used for PSVT, not for a case of the atrial fibrillation. So the answer here will be not to be used is adenosine. Question number 4. ECG is given in the figure. What is the likely cause? So in this ECG, we can see that first we identify the P waves. These are the P waves which are present here. So in that each P is not followed by QRS. This P is not followed by QRS complex. So there is an intermittent failure of conduction from atria to ventricles. So each P is not followed by QRS is a second degree AV block. While in the first degree AV block, each P will be followed by QRS complex. While the third degree AV block is QRS and P are independent of each other. There is no relation between the P wave and the QRS, but here whenever QRS is coming, it is preceded by a P wave. So that means ki ventricle depolarization is dependent on the conducted atrial impulse. So this is a second degree AV block, and to be more precise, MOBIS type 1 or 2, PR interval is gradually increasing here. So in this condition, the PR interval here is say 6 mm. Here the PR interval is approximately 8 am, and here the PR interval is almost 10 mm. So progressively increasing PR interval till one atrial impulse fails to conduct to the ventricle. So this is a MOBIS type 1 block. MOBIS type 1 block. And if in these question, if there is any doubt or there is any mismatch, because these are on recall based, so you can put that in the comment section also, and also mention the question number for your doubt or query. Now coming to question number. So this has been done in your live classes, eMedicoz classes, MOBIS type 1, with the exact mechanism, diagram based, and how it is converted into the ECG finding. Questions on hematology. So there was quite a good chunk of the hematology in this INICET exam. So question is incorrect statement regarding hemophilia. So A and B is not mentioned, but we can still solve this question. Hemophilia is a X-linked recessive disorder. So boys will be mainly affected, males will be more affected. It is due to the deficiency of factor 8 and B is due to the deficiency of factor 9. So it is a true statement. It causes mucosal bleeding? No, it mainly causes joint or muscle bleeding. So answer will be C option. Mucosal bleeding is mainly due to thrombocytopenia. Question number 6. Correct among the following ECG lead. And yes, this time the ECG questions were quite a good number. At least 4 questions were ECG based questions, and all of them were new questions, but from the repeatedly asked topics. So your concepts of ECG should be very, very clear. Indeed, these are very simple questions. So correct among the following. Lead 1 positive terminal is right arm to and negative to left arm. No, it is opposite. The lead 1, the ECG lead is made as negative terminal is right upper limb and positive terminal is left upper limb. While lead 2 is like this. Negative terminal is right upper limb and positive terminal is left lower leg. While lead 3 is negative terminal left upper limb and positive terminal is left lower leg. While the right lower leg is not used for making the connection, ground is connected, it is used for earthing purpose. So only D option is correct here. And this has been explained quite in details in your exams, in your eMedicoz class. The lead 1, how the lead 1 is made, reference electrode right upper limb, that is a negative pole, and left upper limb is exploring electrode, that is a positive pole, and how the electrodes are made and how they will detect the depolarization of the heart. Question 7. Patient has vomiting and no proper dietary intake for 4 weeks, treated with IV normal saline, but developed quadriplegia and become rigid and mute. Correct statement. So that means that this patient must have a rapid correction of the sodium, and that has led to, the rapid correction has led to a pontine osmotic myelinolysis syndrome, POMS. That is due to the rapid correction of the sodium. So pons is affected, and in the pons all the pyramidal fiber are descending down for the limbs. So quadriplegia will be there, and cranial nerves will be there except for the midbrain cranial nerves. So patient will be rigid and mute. So this effect is due to the rapid correction of the sodium. The sodium should be corrected by not more than, it should be not more than 10 millimoles per liter should be the correction. Millimoles per liter correction. Patient sodium should increase by this factor in first 24 hours. And this question, which of the following differentiate a superinfection from a co-infection of hepatitis D? So in every class of the hepatology, this has been discussed. The meaning of the superinfection and the meaning of the co-infection. And this is the co-infection discussed in the class. Superinfection, co-infection is acute hepatitis D with acute hepatitis B. So we have to convert the acute word into IgM, antibody. For hepatitis D, anti-HDV. For hepatitis B, anti-HBC. For superinfection, acute hepatitis D along with the chronic hepatitis B. Chronic B was present there for a long time. So IgM anti-HDV will be there and IgG anti-HBC for hepatitis B infection will be there. So if we look at the what is being asked here, the how to differentiate a superinfection from a co-infection. So superinfection will have IgG anti-HBC antibody present. So this will be the correct answer. While IgM anti-HBC will be present in cases of co-infection. Same IgM anti-HDV will be in co-infection or superinfection both. Viral loads will not differentiate. IgG anti-HDV will be a chronic hepatitis D infection. So it is anti-HBC which will differentiate it. Patient presented with seizure in the emergency with elevated liver enzymes. Which drug can be used? So this again is discussed in the class as a clinical scenario that patient is admitted in the ward, a patient of cirrhosis, alcoholic cirrhosis, liver enzymes are high and develop the seizure. What will you do? Your duty is there. So you have to give patient a very ultra short acting benzodiazepine, oxazepam, so that it can be safely given to control the seizures. Scorpion bite with a bilateral lower lobe fluid accumulation. This is in the lungs that there is pulmonary edema which is being there. How will you treat it? So this is a very tricky question. The students must have marked furosemide as the answer because in thinking that there is a pulmonary edema. But this pulmonary edema is because of excess of catecholamines due to the scorpion bite. So for that we need vasodilator agent like we can give nifedipine, we can give hydralazine or we can give alpha blocker like prazosin. So out of all the vasodilators only prazosin is given here. So this will be the correct answer. A 60-year-old man post-MI, that means कि already a known case of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease with diabetes. So any patient of previous history of coronary artery disease with diabetes, patient should be put on high intensity statins. High intensity statins. And the target LDL value should be less than 70. And here the LDL value was 130, HDL was almost okay, triglyceride was 270. So the student will be thinking we should give the drug for triglyceride, that is fenofibrate. No, the drug for the fenofibrate is usually given when it is say more than 500. That means very high levels, then we give. But below that the benefits are not that much. So to make the LDL less than 70, we need a high intensity of statins. What are high intensity of statins? High intensity means atorvastatin of 40 to 80 milligrams per day, or rosuvastatin of 20 milligrams per day. So out of this, the option which is given here is A option. Now a stat question, which of the following is a contraindication through thrombolytic therapy in a patient presenting with stroke? Age more than 18 years? No, it should be less than 18 years. That is a contraindication. Presented within 3 hours, yes, patient can be given up to 4.5 hours, it can be given. BP more than 185 to 110, no, it is contraindication. MCA edema less than 1/3 of the territory can be given. If it was more than 1/3 of the MCA territory, then it will be contraindication. And this topic has been discussed in the Instagram post, 40 days 40 questions for your AIIMS revision, contraindication of the thrombolytic therapy. This was clearly mentioned that this will be a topic which will be repeated. Question 13, site of the lesion in hemibellismus, subthalamus, globus, pallidus, caudate nucleus or potamen. So answer here is a stat answer, that is subthalamic nucleus will cause a hemibellismus. Hypertensive patient with a deranged kidney function test, hyperkalemia on antihypertensive drug. Which drug should be stopped? So, or the other way around, which drug should not be given? That drug which can cause high potassium out of all these is ARBs, that is losartan. That should not be given here. Which of the following is the most specific antibody for SLE? Again, a repeat question. The answer here will be anti-Smith. Most common is ANA, that is a sensitive antibody. dsDNA, it indicate the disease activity. Again, this was also discussed in the Insta post in which the topic was SLE antibodies and their role. ANA is the best screening, dsDNA disease activity, anti-Smith is a specific antibody, anti-Ro neonatal lupus, anti-stone drug induced SLE, and anti-neuronal for CNS lupus. Which is not seen in aspergillosis. So pathology wise, aspergillosis mainly cause a cavity, a halo sign will be seen, a air crescent sign will be seen. It might cause interstitial disease, ground glass opacity might be seen, or a wedge-shaped consolidation. While pleural effusion is a very rare pathology of aspergillosis, so this will be the most likely answer here. A diabetic patient with a deranged kidney function test, refusing insulin. So this will be, I think, question number 17 here. So in that case, which drug can be safely given? Out of this, linagliptin has shown to be a renal safe medication. It can be given safely in renal failure, and but the best will be insulin, but patient is refusing insulin here. So this was question number 17. Question 17. Now question 18. 11-year boy with intentional tremors and sister having the same complaint as with the image as shown in the figure. So there is icterus and a brownish ring around the cornea. So that is a KF ring. KF ring. So this is Wilson disease. Clear cut answer, Wilson disease. Which is not a sign of a heart failure? Non-pulsatile rise in the JVP is seen in SVC obstruction. So there will be non-pulsatile increase in the JVP. Orthopnea is a classical symptom of the heart failure. Shortness of breath 2 to 3 hours after sleep, that is PND, paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. This is a specific symptom of heart failure. Right hypochondrial pain can be because of liver congestion. Congestive hepatomegaly can be there. So answer is A. In CHF, the JVP will be pulsatile. It will be elevated but with pulsatile. Cerebral perfusion pressure is it is a mean arterial pressure minus the intracranial pressure. So stat question, answer will be A option. A bedridden patient aspirate, most likely in a supine position. Bedridden is in a supine position. So the two areas which get the aspiration is on the right side. One is a apical lobe, one is a lower lobe. So the apical lobe will be a posterior side, while the right lower lobe will be the superior side. So the best answer here will be right upper lobe, that will be the posterior side of the right upper lobe. So lower lobe, it should be a superior part or a apical part. Alright, so I think there is some doubt in this. Bedridden supine patient, the lung segment involved will be right upper lobe posterior. Yes, that will be more commonly affected. That will be more commonly affected. Patient has on the oral examination this finding. This is a orange colored tonsils, and that is because of the HDL deposit in these tonsils in the reticuloendothelial cells. So it is specific for Tangiers disease. Tetany can be caused by, it is due to low calcium and low magnesium, both can cause tetany features. So it is because of pancreatitis also, because pancreatitis lead to low calcium. Due to the release of the lipase, free fatty acids, they bind calcium, and hence free calcium levels reduce. Vitamin D toxicity, no, that will not cause the low calcium, it causes high calcium rather. This bone marrow needle is given, and in this bone marrow there is a guard here, so that is not adjustable guard which is present here. This is typical of a Klima needle, while the other needles are, this is a Salas needle. So in this there is a adjustable knob here, that is especially for the sternal bone marrow aspiration. This is a Klima needle. This is non-adjustable, but there is a guard here. And this is the Jamshidi needle. This is used for both aspiration as well as for the biopsy also. 25. A patient with a low hemoglobin, low MCH, low MCV with a high ferritin. So this is a microcytic anemia, and in this microcytic anemia ferritin levels are high, iron stores are high. So this is highly typical of a chronic disease microcytic anemia. While microcytic anemia, the best test though is a TIBC. TIBC will be high, then it will be a case of iron deficiency anemia. TIBC is normal in sideroblastic. TIBC is low in chronic inflammation, and thalassemia, again it is a normal TIBC, but thalassemia will give you abnormal hemoglobin electrophoresis, by which we can differentiate. Neurogenic shock, it is due to the loss of the sympathetic activity. Patient will be in hypotension. Whenever shock comes, it is hypotension, but it will be associated with bradycardia because of the loss of sympathetic tone. This is probably the only shock where bradycardia is seen. In other shock, it is tachycardia. Patient with proximal muscle weakness, facial rash and knuckle rash as shown in the figure. What is this lesion due to? So this lesion is very typical of the dermatomyositis. Gorton rash is seen here, and you can see a shawl sign and a V sign which can be present here. And that is also discussed in the 40 days 40 question topic, the topic of the dermatomyositis. Gorton rash, V sign, shawl sign, and malignancy risk in cases of dermatomyositis. Resection of which of the following results in macrocytosis? So this is a very important, we can say tricky question. In stomach intrinsic factor loss will be there, so this lead to B12 deficiency. Why? Folic acid is absorbed from the proximal intestine. Folic acid deficiency can be there. Ileum B12 deficiency can be there. So the answer is all of the following can result in the macrocytosis, so it could be a multiple correct options. Yes, malabsorption topic. The first topic which has been discussed in the class always is which nutrient are absorbed from the proximal and which are absorbed from the distal intestine. So the folic acid is absorbed from the proximal intestine, B12 is absorbed from the distal small intestine. A patient completes a triple drug regime for H. pylori infection, and which investigation will be best assessed to assess the treatment response here? Biopsy urease test is the most sensitive test. Upper GI endoscopy, breath urea test, serology. So out of this, breath urea test is the test for a treatment follow-up, not the serology. Serology will take time to go away. Corrected reticulocyte count if hemoglobin is 5 and reticulocyte count is 9. So it is reticulocyte count multiplied by patient hemoglobin, or rough estimate, divided by 15. So it will come out to be 3. Patient hemoglobin is 5, 5 by 15 is 3 here, 3, or it will be answer 3. So these are some of the questions from the INICET, and as you can see, it contain the mainly topics which are commonly asked. No rare disease is being asked, and they have given us clinical scenario, and all of these you can do if you have revised your notes very well. So if there is any doubt or any questions, you can ask in the comment section. All the very best for your exams.